with Rahul Verma, Senior Fellow at the Center for Policy Research here in New Delhi, and Yashwant Deshmukh, Director of C Voter, which is one of India's top polling agencies, both political analysts, both familiar faces at ThePrint. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Jyoti.
And today we are discussing the Enforcement Directorate, which has summoned several political leaders for questioning. Manish Sisodia, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, has been arrested, as we all know. This is the second time that he's been arrested, earlier by the CBI and now by the ED. The ED, the Enforcement Directorate, is carrying out raids in Patna and in Delhi against former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav's family and other members of his party, the RJD, and K Kavitha, the daughter of the Telangana Chief Minister, Mr. Chandrashekhar Rao, is in Delhi in answer to summons by the ED. So the first big question that I have for you, Yashwant Deshmukh, is there a political message? And if so, what is it?
Well, I think a political message is very clear in that way that these things are generally used in two directions, Jyoti. I mean, of course, one side is to manage the political opponents. I mean, obviously, that goes without saying. But somehow, in certain cases, I somehow feel that it is also to bring up the political status of that particular opponent. I might sound really weird to you in that way, but these days politics is being played at such a weird permutation and combinations that when me and Rahul were discussing in the last 15 days of Gujarat elections. We know for sure that it was BJP which was running the campaign of the Congress in Gujarat because they were that scared of the kind of traction that Aam Aadmi Party was getting over there. And they definitely wanted somehow Congress to be back in action, to be seen. So, yes, of course, on the face of it, we all know that it has a single point agenda of having a political score, but not each and every case is in the same direction. Some cases are to pull down the political opponent, and some are, in my limited understanding, are also to pull up a political opponent.
So in this particular case, who is it pulling up?
Pardon? Can you repeat the question?
In this particular case, who is it pulling up?
Well, I would like to actually understand that from Rahul.
Okay. Rahul, chaliye, your aapka number aa gaya. What is going on? What is the political message? And who is the target of this, really?
So thank you, Jyoti. I don't think I have an answer to the question that Yashwant Bhai has posed, but I completely shared his wisdom on this point, which is, and this is not BJP's doing or, just of the current moment. There are certain systemic things. So in a dominant party system, dominant party had this kind of advantage where it can choose who its opponent is going to be, right? And so they overplay certain cases, certain candidates, certain parties. And so while we as analysts or in media, our first reaction would be, okay, there is a new opponent coming up to the party or to the prime minister. But think of the dominant party's ability. It is choosing who its opponent is going to be, right? When you have that kind of advantage and power, that's really powerful. Now, in case of, I think it would be hard to pick up between, say, three cases that you pointed out, Aam Aadmi Party and Lalu Prasad Yadav and Kavitha from Telangana, from Bharath Rashtra Samithi. Who is it playing up or playing down? But these three, in some ways, are challenges to the BJP in their respective regions. So that's point one. Two, institutions have always been like CBI, ED, they have always been used by the powers that may be at that time to keep a political head up against the opponent. What we must understand what's happening at this point of time, that some sort of like Omerta code or the compact which was there has been broken. Which is
broken between whom? This Omerta code that you're talking about, what is this compact?
This is used to be some sort of agreement between the political class that of course will sort of like, use state machinery to score on you, and you will do the same when you will come to power. But we are not going to basically touch on the family members. Right, and arrest you and put you in jail. So those kind of things didn't used to happen pre 2014. In some ways, that compact is now broken, and the reason why I think it's being broken for two purposes. One, it plays down well with the BJP base. That here is a government, here is a prime minister who is basically not afraid of basically putting politicians who are charged of corruption in jail. So in that sense, it also energizes the base. Now, I am not a lawyer. I don't know the legal positions of these cases, whether they are actually guilty or not guilty. But after a long time, you are actually seeing politicians who are charged with corruption cases. They are getting into thick of things. Yes, and the second point, which is yes, there are selective usage of these institutions. So the opposition party members who are tainted in such cases are being targeted and put in jail. Not a similar thing is happening for BJP members who might be basically tainted with similar corruption cases. But that's the nature of politics. And I'm not saying it's right, but this is how it plays out.
Yeah. So Yashwant, the question to you again, and the question that you raised, who is the BJP bringing up, or who is the ED bringing up via the BJP?
Well, I think it's different in different states in that way. For example, I mean, sometimes I really doubt the idea of opposition unity or opposition to the BJP, which is taught up by the TRS, or now it is the BRS, for example, in their own state politics, for them to BJP to grow in Telangana at the expense of Congress, it is suiting them, but not beyond a point. Similarly, as long as Congress is not propping up in Telangana, BJP people are okay with TRS or in that way. BJP people are more than happy if TRS becomes or BRS becomes the one of the key players putting up the third front, because they certainly don't want Congress plus third front, an entire opposition as one in that way. So, so that way, even Mamata Banerjee, for example, all these people who have or showing a prime ministerial ambition and who wish to lead a non-BJP and non-Congress front as well, they are all good music to BJP ears. All of them, be it Arvind Kejriwal, be it Mamata, be it head of the BRS, be it anybody in that way. But at the same time, none of them wants to breach a certain tipping point at the state and the central level. So Mamata wants BJP to grow, eat up the left, till the point of time she felt threatened from the BJP. Similarly, same is the case of the BJP vis-a-vis Aam Aadmi Party. So it's a very fluid synergy, if I may say so. Fluid because these equations keep on changing with the kind of election that we are looking in the next cycle.
Let me interrupt you, Yashwant. Sorry to interrupt you, but why is the BJP afraid of the Aam Aadmi Party, or why is it afraid of the...
Oh, very simple, very easy to understand. They are least bothered about Aam Aadmi Party scoring nationally. BJP is more than happy if Aam Aadmi Party polls 10% nationally, because they know it will only split the minority vote, it will only eat up the BJP and other opposition vote. Aam Aadmi Party is unlikely to eat any of the BJP vote at the national level at this point of time. But what they are scared of at the state level, for example, state of Gujarat, if Aam Aadmi Party would have become the principal opposition party in Gujarat, 5 years down the lane, they would have scared to hell like what Aam Aadmi Party did in Punjab. Because almost 30 years of anti-incumbency, we know for sure, this BJP magic in Gujarat is only and only because of Prime Minister Modi's popularity. Till the point of time that he actually retires. The day he retires, BJP's 50% weightage, if I may say so, in Gujarat will drop like anything. And then there would be a vacuum, and they don't want that vacuum to be filled up by a new entrant like Aam Aadmi Party, where they cannot actually charge them of anything. They can still charge Congress of each and everything, but not to Aam Aadmi Party in Gujarat. Yes, they can charge Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. They can charge Aam Aadmi Party now in Punjab, but not in Gujarat. So what I'm simply trying to say, they are scared of Aam Aadmi Party to grow in different states where they feel Congress is an easier opponent to beat it.
Okay.
They would certainly like Congress to be there. It's a typical Batman and Joker thing kind of thing that in Dale Ishkia or Ishkia, was it that when the Fuaji leaves Naseeruddin Shah, saying that if there is no Robin left, what will happen to Batman like me? So it's a very typical combination. They definitely need Congress. And they are right now more than, the way I look at them, look at the way they have started reacting to Rahul Gandhi. They don't need to.
So let's just hold on to your thought on Rahul Gandhi. I want to ask Rahul Verma about this. Yashwant talked about how they're targeting the Aam Aadmi Party because they don't want it to grow in Gujarat. But what is the connection with Kavitha in Telangana? Now, listen, I'm not saying that Kavitha is innocent or guilty of these charges that have been leveled against her by the ED, which is that she or her party or her so-called South cartel, the South group, which allegedly gave kickbacks on the liquor policy in Delhi. We are not going to into any of that. We are talking about how is the Telangana, not the Telangana Rashtra Samithi, the Bharath Rashtra Samithi of K Chandrashekhar Rao. Why is this party being targeted? Why is the BJP going south?
Because after Karnataka, the best hope for BJP is in Telangana. In last Lok Sabha elections in 2019, BJP had 4 MPs, and BJP hopes, though it would be a tall order, to actually come to power in the 2023 elections. But certainly BJP is going to emerge as number 2 player for sure.
In
Telangana, yes. So in some ways, it's hard for any of us to figure out what is the motive and what's the game plan, right? We can only sort of think about why some of these things get done. Sometimes it's just to distract, sometimes just to create a bit of chaos. Sometimes just to throw a piece in the water and see who is going to react what, right? Like now you arrest Sisodia, Manish Sisodia, and the Congress says that, yes, he's guilty, right? And so any sort of and now think of it, 6 months down the line, Manish Sisodia, even if he's out of jail, will remember that Congress didn't help me at that time. They didn't come out to protest me. Right. And so any sort of oppositional coalition, because at the end of the day, we are humans. If people didn't come out for us during trouble, why should I align with the Congress party in Delhi and resurrect it? Right. And so in some ways, it's also just to throw stones in the water to see what reactions are going to be there. So
and create a kind of political chaos in a sense.
Yes.
So, Yashwant, the question is the BJP afraid of, in these particular 3, we're only taking 3 instances. Is it afraid of Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi? Is it afraid of TRS in Telangana? And is it afraid of the RJD in Bihar?
I think there is chaos, but there is a method to the madness.
Yes.
All right. It's not just madness. There is a very, very clear method to the madness. Okay, let me put each and every case, see what is happening out of this entire thing. After the Aam Aadmi Party's debacle in Gujarat, if I may call so, of course, Congress got routed, but they were not in that. So now, for the last few days since Sisodia went in, we are all talking about Aam Aadmi Party again. International level, the media exposure that they are getting, independent calling that, okay, emergency has been imposed and because Manish Sisodia went to jail. Of course, that's not the case. But in Delhi politics and in the national politics, we are talking about Aam Aadmi Party. So obviously, they are covering the headlines. All right, number 1. Number 2, whatever in order to win Gujarat big time, the kind of campaign that BJP did to ensure that Congress became their prime opponent in Gujarat, they went overboard with that. And then they realized that, okay, we have won Gujarat, but we still need Aam Aadmi Party to, we still need Arvind Kejriwal at the national level to eat into the Congress, whatever vote share, whatever it is. And of course, Rahul is bang on that, when Congress puts out a morcha and that, they did it right, Arvind Sisodia is a chore and whatever it is. So Manish Sisodia and Arvind Kejriwal are going to remember that. On the Telangana front, and again, we are talking about only there is no objectivity to the data and all those we are talking. But whatever understanding from the history and whatever understanding from the people who are aware of the things, I have known for quite some time that people and sources in Telangana have been saying that there is some kind of internal tussle also going on between son and daughter of BRS chief, and over the last some time ever since she lost her Lok Sabha poll, she has been completely out of the radar. All right. Now, doing this, all of a sudden, Kavitha is pretty much in the action. Headlines are no more about KTR, headlines are about Kavitha. So, number one, whatever current or future infighting could be in the BRS camp, that is again ensured. Number two, in this entire game, BRS versus the BJP is the thing that both the parties are playing big time at the state, at the national level. Nobody is talking about Congress, as if Congress is non-existent in Telangana. All right. Come to the third state, that is Bihar. Precisely the same game. All of a sudden, we are not even talking as if there is a party called JDS. There is somebody called,
Nitish Kumar
of Bihar, who has a prime ministerial ambition. His deputy, his lieutenant, Upendra Kushwaha, has walked away. He has given the Z plus security and whatnot. And all of a sudden, Tejasvi Yadav is in the plank because right now, pushing the JDU chief to oblivion and bringing the Lalu Yadav family in the front in the larger polarization scale of Bihar might be the thing to serve their purpose. And the more they will do it, this coalition, the alternative coalition Mahagathbandhan of Bihar started with a very big scale of good ratings. But we know for sure, the more they are continuing in the government, government ratings is going down day by day. And also the narrative, you can see in the social media and everywhere, huge narrative push on the Jungle Raj. If you can think like. Now, all this thing is to basically ensure that the Yadavs are in the center stage. Along with the Yadavs, the 2 points are served. And Yadavs are happy. Honestly speaking, Tejasvi Yadav is more than happy to be seen as the future of Bihar in the narrative. So he is also playing along and he knows till Nitish Kumar doesn't really retire or is pushed out or kicked out, whichever way you want to say it, he doesn't get to the chief minister's chair. So that's why I find it funny. It's of course, this is use of the agencies and everything, but it's not as plain vanilla as it looks on the face of it, Jyoti. There are way too many permutation combinations, which not every victim is actually a victim. Somewhere down the line, every victim is also playing a victim card because he knows in the long-term politics, he or she is actually gaining out of it.
So you're implying that in Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav is gaining from these raids, even though it seems as if he is the potential victim or the potential target in Telangana. Yes?
Absolutely, Jyoti, because look at the way all the sympathy of Laluji and his family, they are concentrated now standing behind Tejasvi Yadav. Concentrated. So his MY formula is intact, no matter Kurmi Koiri comes along with him or not. How much is viability from the viability perspective, how much it is good in long-term electoral sustainability, that's a different thing. That's not the show is all about.
Then it's polarized against the BJP, isn't it?
Exactly. So whatever the anti-BJP vote in Bihar is right now is polarized and standing solid right behind Tejasvi Yadav by all these things. And there would be a counter-polarization. And
but Rahul, so the question to you is, Rahul, the question is that in this case, if the BJP is, whatever tool it's using, whether it's via the ED or any other agency, if you are trying to polarize it and make it, like, for example, in Bihar, what Yashwant is saying. So are you polarizing between BJP and RJD, and therefore you're finishing off the Janata Dal United of Nitish?
Oh, absolutely. So let me make 2 points. One is, I wouldn't use the word afraid. When you're saying, is BJP afraid of AAP or BRS or RJD, right? Afraid is a different level. Like when you have this kind of dominance and power, you are not afraid. When you are sitting at the peak of your power, you like politicians are they're players. They have to continue playing the game. Governance is one part, but what do you do with your political opponent? You have to also keep them busy in different ways, right? So it's just keeping them busy. See, on each of these things, as Yashwant rightly mentioned, because victims gain, but you have to always create wedge. As a politician, it's my job to create divisions. Not my job, but in a way, right? So think of it. Now, there's one side of narrative. At least there are going to be people who are going to think Manish Sisodia for some time will be happy playing this game because it puts him on a higher pedestal. He's a martyr. There is one narrative which you might have seen on WhatsApp and also on other channels, which is that people are saying, oh, Kejriwal बहुत smart है, चीफ मिनिस्टर है, वो नहीं फंसता है क्योंकि वो कोई पेपर नहीं साइन करता है. पहले सत्येंद्र जैन फंस गए, फिर अब मनीष सिसोदिया फंस गए. So this is also creating wedge within parties, right? And in Bihar context, which is my second point, see, ultimately polarization happens between two extreme and strong ends. JDU is not a strong or extreme end. Right? By elevating Lalu Yadav, as Yashwant rightly mentioned, they are again trying to, create sympathy. They know that if you touch Lalu at this moment, especially when he's recovering from health issues, it will generate some sort of like sympathy within RJD's own base, right? So it will solidify RJD's own base, but solidification of RJD's base will produce the counter narrative, which is going to be advantageous for the BJP, that now Yadavs are getting behind RJD again. It will come to power and we'll have basically Jungle Raj of 1990s. Now, narratives are created like this. It doesn't have to be said every time through a bite in the TV. You like the chaos, there is a method to the madness. You throw a stone and let things develop. And in that, when things develop organically, your own machinery is going to pick certain things and play it out, and you will downplay certain things.
That's so you're building them up. You're building them up to destroy them, in a sense.
Yeah, you never build your.
Yashwant?
You are building them up so that they can destroy each other.
Okay. Or they can destroy themselves. So the question is that, Kavitha has said she's on a fast in support of the women's reservation bill right here in Delhi at Jantar Mantar. But before she went on the fast, she also sent a message to the Congress party. She said nice things about Sonia Gandhi. She said, you were the one that led the women's bill in 2010, so 13 years ago. And it has not lapsed because it was passed in the Rajya Sabha. She invited the Congress to join her protest. Now, 12 parties joined her women's reservation bill protest, but the Congress was not there. What do you think is the message, Yashwant?
Well, it's the same message that the opposition parties gave to the Congress when the Bharat Jodo Yatra culminated in Srinagar. We are there, but we are not really there. So, count me in, but don't count me out, whichever way you look at it. Because you see, the way we are analyzing, and we are just we are not even into the thick of the things. We are not even in the knowledge of the majority of the things. We are observing it. And if we can see through it, then obviously the political parties can see through it as well. Obviously, they are playing the game. So basically, I agree, when Rahul said that, it's that BJP is likely to be the second largest in Telangana, but I don't see them at this point of time actually getting into a position where they can form the government. It is more or like West Bengal, that they replace the left and the Congress as the...
So what's the Congress? Explain to me what's happening with the Congress party. Why is it not willing to join this opposition protest of 12 parties? It's a small protest that on the...
I kind of don't blame them. I kind of don't blame them for a simple thing. That Congress also knows that all these regional players have actually grown because of the Congress. They have first of all eaten up the Congress vote base. So as long as these regional parties are there, the future of the Congress remains bleak. So somehow everybody is playing their game. Congress wants to get into that alliance, but it wants to get into the alliance with the lion's share and with the pole position that, okay, hum dada hain, hum bade hain, hum buzurg hain, hamari saath mein chalo. So what will happen, what I feel is likely to happen, is that, for example, in Telangana, case of Telangana, what if TRS or BRS fails to secure a complete majority and falls short a few points? They have got two options. Number one, going ahead with the AIMIM, because they are likely to get a dozen or 15 odd seats. Their upper strength was 17 assembly seats in Telangana. Second would be the Congress, which might or might not score something in Telangana. So they want to keep that option open as well, in the name of anti-BJP. If we fall short, at least there would be a cushion to play around. That's one thing which must be going around, number one. Number two, Kavitha being in the center stage is not just the BRS at play, it's Kavitha also at play. So there is a central politics to it, there is a local politics to it, and there is a family politics to it.
Right.
So three politics are played in different directions, and somehow BJP is making full utilization of those contradictions and everything, and just trying to push through. Because come to think of it, Jyoti, Telangana, in terms of Lok Sabha elections, also remains a greenfield state for the BJP. They only scored 4 seats. 4 is a big one out of 17, but only 4. They see it's a possibility of 14. 10 more seats they can. So BJP is playing the game very smartly in all those greenfield states where they feel, if due to some point of time, due to saturation politics in the Hindi heartland, if they start losing few seats here, few seats there, and the cumulative loss is about 20, 25, 30 seats, they need to compensate those seats.
Right.
Because let's be honest, yes, BJP complete majority on its own, but has been a bare majority, 282 and 300. If 20 seats down from the last one, BJP will be in majority, but it's still not very comfortable one.
Right.
And the way they work, they don't really want to be dependent on their alliance partners.
Yes.
They would like to carry their alliance partner, but they don't want to be dependent on them.
So, Rahul, give me the big picture. We are 1 year away from the big election, 2024 next year. All this is happening now, whether it's the use of the Enforcement Directorate and other agencies. This big picture of, can there be opposition unity? A lot of the regional parties are talking about it. Kavitha has talked about it. Then even in Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin has talked about it. But the Congress seems to be hesitant. But can they be this BJP versus the rest?
Very difficult. See, I completely agree with you. Everyone talks about it. They will meet for dinners and some meetings and get a photo of. But possibility of a grand opposition alliance is very difficult. Even Congress, after its plenary session in Raipur, Mallikarjun Kharge said that, we want to have a grand alliance against BJP in 2024. And the reason why I say it's difficult, first, there is you have to think of opposition, and every party has its different incentive structures for opposition parties. You have a DMK, JMM, you can keep NCP and Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray's faction as part of parties which are already in UPA or with Congress, right? And so they will make this noise that we want to have this alliance. Then you have parties like RJD and JDU who wants to be part of the alliance, but with some conditions. Then you have parties like BJD, YSRCP, and BRS who don't want a resurgent Congress on their turf. They would rather be like two bosses of their own state and don't want a Congress entry happening. So incentive structures of parties vary, and that's why any opposition alliance is difficult. The second point is, what is Congress bringing to the table for it to become the nucleus or center of the alliance? Because Congress, of course, is like nationally present party. It's bigger than anyone else. But Congress is losing state after state. In last 5 years, the only place where they managed to have their own chief minister is Himachal Pradesh, right? In any other state, they are basically shrinking. So Congress doesn't bring anything to the table. Most of these parties would think that alliance with the Congress party, one, BRS is not going to get any seat in Chhattisgarh to contest or in Rajasthan to contest. Why should it vacate some seats in Telangana for Congress to contest? Or why should, BJP, if it's not going to get any seat in any other state, should give Congress party space to contest in their home turf? So because of the difference in the incentive structure, and Congress is still not like willing, and especially after Bharat Jodo Yatra, it thinks that it now has that kind of appeal, that it won't play the ball with state level parties. It want to head the coalition, call the shots, and all other things. That's why this is difficult. Third, such grand coalitions have only happened under very existential crisis, right? And unless that existential crisis appears on the scene. So yes, if these arrests, the number of these arrests become pandemic, right? Like all parties are facing something like this, perhaps that will bring them on the table. But in normal course, I don't think it's easy for opposition parties to come together under a single umbrella. And even if they come, we don't know whether they will be able to challenge BJP in every state, right? It hasn't worked in UP, right? SP and Congress contested together, SP, BSP contested together, JDS and Congress contested in Karnataka, Congress and left contested together in Bengal. So it doesn't mean that every time they will come together, or in Tripura, right? That they will come together and will be able to challenge. And finally, in each Northeast gives a very good indication. There are new players coming up. Right? In each of those states, a new player is coming up. They want to create a space for themselves. If they become part of these alliances, they'll get hardly 1 or 2 seats. Think of, had like Pradyut Verma became part of Congress left alliance, he may not have even got 10 seats to contest. Right now, right? So
in which case, Yashwant, why is the BJP targeting Rahul Gandhi? You know, his statements in London, where he said that the RSS is a fascist organization, and कि foreign soil पे ये सब नहीं कहना चाहिए, you're criticizing Mother India वगैरह. So what is this target about?
Because they still want Rahul Gandhi as the principal opponent. It's a very, very classical game, Jyoti. They don't want Congress to grow beyond a point, and they definitely want Congress to melt down beyond a point as well. Mm-hmm. Because they know for sure that the core of the BJP's success still is the Hindi heartland. Those seats, those 200 seats where it is Congress versus the BJP, in those seats, unless Congress shows a remarkable upswing, and beats BJP in those kind of seats, Congress can never actually become at the center point of opposition again in that way.
But does
because
the
they have to get their own aura back.
Do you think the Congress understands that?
I actually, this or that, I don't know what actually Congress understands, honestly. And this is not a comment on any particular person or party. I mean, I somehow feel, I use the line that there is a method to the madness. That is for the BJP. In case of Congress, there is a madness to the madness. If I may say so. Because the way I look at it, one step forward, 2 steps backward, it's in the right direction. And they are happy. By the way, in this entire thing that BJP going after Rahul Gandhi, and in our ratings also, Rahul Gandhi kind of repairing his popularity numbers, what his previous high was. At one point of time last year, national number for as a candidate for the Prime Minister's post in our India Today last year, MOTN, Rahul Gandhi first time dropped almost below 10. It was 9 and 7, if I'm not wrong, for Kejriwal and Rahul Gandhi. At this point of time, in the last MOTN post, Bharat Jodo Yatra, he is up to 14 and Kejriwal has gone down below. So that 9 to 14 jump, or even say, for example, 17, 18, 20, that kind of repairing the Congress strategists are celebrating. Good, because they are celebrating that probably they have postponed what looked like a certain demise of the party, meltdown. That's fine. What they are unable to understand, is that Rahul Gandhi is only catching up with the numbers of his own party. Congress party, even in the worst of its time, Jyoti, is still polling about 20% all across India. And Rahul Gandhi's number was almost 50% of that party. So Rahul Gandhi is catching up with his own party. It's not the other way around. Party is not catching up with Rahul Gandhi.
Absolutely.
So, it's fascinating to see people around him or strategists around him genuinely feel that his leadership is essential for the Congress to move forward. I understand that. They need a face. But they are forgetting the fact that Congress is still, in the worst of the time, still has 20% votes. And now, while sustaining those 20% votes, they need to now reposition themselves, take a junior partner's role in the earnest possible means in many of these states. Come to some kind of understanding. Assembly is your, Lok Sabha is our. Look at that, the same understanding that probably BJP now has majority with the opposition leaders. The state is yours, Lok Sabha is ours. बम्बैया भाषा में बोले तो अच्छी खासी मंडावली कर रखी सब लोगों ने. And that is what was the original Congress Kamraj plan, that state Chhatraps over there and the central Majboot center over here. That's what the original idea of sustainability inside the Congress was. But somehow we still find it difficult to see. One thing which Rahul mentioned, and Rahul, Karnataka also, our MOTN numbers were very clear that it is moving the Congress way. And I'm sure whenever our next trend polls and everything start coming in terms of quantifying the numbers, the first thing that the Congress strategist reaction would be, "Ab to hum Lok Sabha sweep karenge."
So
without remembering that in 2018, the kind of sweep they had in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh delivered them zero. It's 5 months down the lane in the Lok Sabha.
So that's my next question, Rahul, which is, as Yashwant says, does the Congress have the political sagacity, if you like, or the political astuteness, or the ek taraf se, it's like a humility, shall we say? Does the Congress have the humility to understand this? Ki Bharat Jodo Yatra notwithstanding, और ये जो 14-15% वाले जो numbers जो अभी यशवंत जी गिना रहे थे हमको, despite that, it's actually nowhere in the picture. And that perhaps it is the duty of the Congress party to stitch together a coalition where it is not necessarily the lead in every state. Can it do that, Rahul?
So, pardon me for saying that. What I'm going to say, I don't think. See,
you don't think?
I don't think they have this wisdom, especially people who have this wisdom don't have power to make decisions within the Congress party, and people who are making decisions within the Congress party don't understand what's going on. If, to my mind, BJP is not attacking Rahul Gandhi for what he's saying in Cambridge and England. They are using those references to remind the voters of India that looked at this leader, what he does when he goes out, right? And so it's basically solidifying base and, in fact, winning over some more votes for the BJP. If not for the BJP, at least it's make those voters anti-Rahul Gandhi for sure, and to some extent anti-Congress. So it's not attacking. It's basically using what Rahul Gandhi is doing to basically play its own game. Second point, and Yashwant Bhai's like see voters, new numbers will come up and we'll have much more clarity on this. I think now what you are seeing is basically the negative consequences of the success of Bharat Jodo Yatra. It has given Rahul Gandhi the kind of moral legitimacy because of those 4,000 kilometers he walked, that he's going to do certain things which is going to cost Congress party elections in next 1 year. And so even some of the elections which were sure 6 months back will become, I'm not saying Congress party will lose, but will become tightly contested. For example, Karnataka. 6 months back, I think the numbers were showing clear leads for the Congress party that will start closing in with the kind of things he's doing and saying.
But that's exactly the opposite message that the Congress party wants to put out. And what we saw during the Yatra, Yashwant, in Karnataka, you saw massive crowds of ordinary people like you and me following Rahul Gandhi, at least curious to know who this man is. But if Rahul Verma is to be believed, then the numbers are closing in and it's a tight race even for the Congress.
You see, the problem is not in the mahal or the public or the messaging. Problem is the management of the party or whichever you look at.
So no follow through.
I mean, come to think of it. I mean, the so-called bonhomie of Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar, all the photo op, the guys don't talk to each other. Forget about making a strategy. They would be more keen to kind of strategize that uske gut ke aadmi ka ticket mila to usko harwa do. Even after that, if Congress manages to win, they are likely to repeat what they did in Rajasthan. Rajasthan, they did not win on the face of Gehlot. The chicker was pilot, but he was not made. And come to think of it, in Karnataka, DK Shivkumar, for whatever good, bad, ugly that he carries, he is not popular. Please be very clear. DK Shivkumar is not the popular face of Congress in Karnataka. It is Siddaramaiah. But I will not be surprised that post-election, somehow Mr. Shivkumar gets the main thing. And if not the main thing, even if Mr. Siddaramaiah kind of persists, become the chief minister, I am that sure that all the key portfolios and everything, if Congress wins, they will end up in hands of Mr. DK Shivkumar. Okay. And come to think of it, if Congress wins in Karnataka, Jyoti, take it in writing, it will be a blessing in disguise for the BJP for the forthcoming Lok Sabha election. Our the situation was so bad that in our MOTN poll for Karnataka, we had actually kept BJP in single digits in Karnataka for Lok Sabha election. Mm-hmm. So imagine from that situation what BJP is in deep hole in over there. But if Congress wins, it could be a blessing in disguise for the BJP as far as the Lok Sabha elections in Karnataka are concerned.
Okay, so we've absolutely run out of time, and I learned so much from the two of you that it's fascinating to hear you. But Rahul, you have the last word on this debate, and I want to ask you. My last question to you is about Arvind Kejriwal. Do you think that he could emerge as a centralizing figure around the opposition?
There are possibilities of that, but it's a long haul. Unless some big catalyst event happens, which Arvind Kejriwal is at the center of things, for him to become a party of 10 to 15% and especially start converting seats more than 35-40 is a long time, right? Even if he sweeps Delhi, even if he sweeps Punjab, which is difficult, the number of seats at the moment is just 20. Right. So both, I don't think he can sweep Delhi Lok Sabha that easily or Punjab Lok Sabha that easily. But despite that fact, for him to become a party with 50 odd seats and 15% vote share nationally, I think he should be looking like 5-7 years down the line, not in 2024 elections.
So I don't know if Rahul, when you said Arvind Gandhi, whether that was a Freudian slip or a slip of the tongue, but Arvind Kejriwal and Rahul Gandhi, I mean, I think the jury is out on that alliance. But meanwhile, gentlemen, Rahul Verma of CPR and Yashwant Deshmukh of C-Voter, thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.